We face an imminent crisis in America. In this presentation, you'll learn more about it, and you'll learn why the National Center for Due Process feels it's an urgent necessity to address this crisis, as well as how the NCDP plans to restore due process, and the civil liberties of all Americans. So what's the problem with America? The United States has become the world leader in incarceration. With only 4.4% of the world's population, America houses an alarming 25% of the world's prisoners. Additionally, America is the only country in the Western Hemisphere that still practices capital punishment. In short, America has rightfully earned its nickname, the Incarceration Nation.
The criminal justice system has become just a system. It's a system that, like any other business, must maximize its revenue to its shareholders, and that means maximizing the number of inmates. The shareholders are led by the prison lobby, who, through politicians, continue to glean and windfall profits for locking people up. The more people they can lock up, the more they can say that they are keeping Americans safe while on the campaign trail, but what the system is really doing is making America less safe. Inmates learn more criminal behaviors, become bitter, and face financial hardships upon release. Inmates released are at a greater risk for recidivism, as our justice system is no longer about rehabilitation, but about the 3 Ps, punishment, politics, and profit. Worse, since the advent of the fictitious Tough on Crime campaign in the early 1980s, we have seen an alarming spike in incarceration rates. We know our civil rights will continue to devolve for generations to come until America is, literally, a prison state. How are we going to reverse this spike in incarceration numbers and disturbing devolution of our civil liberties?
Enter the National Center for Due Process. At the NCDP, we recognize the fundamental flaws in our system, and the manner in which laws are improperly applied. We realize that the current system is not merely flawed, but it is a threat to the constitutional civil liberties we all enjoy. Civil liberties granted to us by the founding fathers of our Constitution, who wanted to protect generations to come, from the tyranny that many colonialists experienced under British rule.
So how does one small non-profit organization take on the massive prison lobby, and this profit-producing machine? The NCDP highlights the fundamental flaws in our judicial system that have led to our prison epidemic. These fundamental flaws, combined with laws that are improperly applied, have resulted in mass incarceration, as evidenced by 25% of the world's prisoners being housed in the borders of America. This epidemic is costly, makes America less safe, and, as mentioned, deprives Americans of their constitutional civil rights.
At the NCDP, we research and highlight cases that demonstrate fundamental flaws in our judicial system, and highlight cases where laws were improperly applied. The current state of our judicial system would have our forefathers rolling in their graves.
At the NCDP, we use a variety of technologies to disseminate our message, from print media, to websites, to social media outlets, videos, images, and more. The only way to ensure wrongful convictions do not occur, over-sentencing doesn't become the norm, and the voices of Americans are louder than the voice of the elite few in the prison lobby, and in Congress, who benefit from the criminal justice industry, is to change criminal justice policies. Crime does not pay, and the NCDP will relay this message to politicians, through a variety of mediums, using the latest technologies to best disseminate our message in our efforts to effect criminal justice policy change.
The NCDP works in conjunction with defense and appellate counsel, with mitigation specialists, and with a variety of professionals and scholars across the country, in order to accomplish our ultimate mission: encourage criminal justice policy change in Washington, D.C. and across state capitals nationwide. The NCDP has a growing number of people who help us accomplish our mission, a mission that rings loud and clear, and sends a precise message to judges, prosecutors, politicians, and the prison lobby, across the nation, that our criminal justice system is not a for-profit business. Due process, along with our constitutional civil liberties, must be restored, and the NCDP does not view this as something to negotiate.
Together, with your help, we will restore our criminal justice system, and restore due process. We will bring our criminal justice system up to speed with democratic norms across the world, and restore the constitutional civil freedoms Americans are entitled to enjoy.